Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And before we begin, if you could take a moment, please, to follow the show, whether on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, top right-hand corner in Apple Podcasts, underneath the album art on Spotify or whatever platform you listen on. Please take a moment to leave us a review and follow the show. Leaving a review is a really simple way to help us, help the show grow, and to help other people in need of this find it. Moves us up the rankings, moves us up in search terms. It's all around good for us. It's good for you, the listener. It's good for everything that we do here. We also brought up a cause that we feel very strong about in the last episode, the Counseling for the Futures Foundation. The fact of the matter is that there are not enough therapists to meet growing demand. There are therapists in school who do not see a reason for finishing because the ROI, the return on investment, isn't there. So the Counseling for the Futures Foundation is making that an easier decision for therapists. They can submit an application to receive a scholarship to have their graduate program paid for in full. So when they graduate and they go into their associateship, they are not having to deal with this massive amount of student debt, which makes it easier for them to become therapists. These amazing people can get out there and help more in need. When you need it, I promise you, you'll be grateful that someone is there to help you, to have their hand reached out to you, to pick you up through whatever you're going through. So it's extremely important to us. Take a moment and visit the website, counselingfutures.org. You can give us a donation there if you'd like, or you can just share the message and get it out there so that more people know about this cause.
Yay!
All right, let's talk acceptance.
Ooh.
You don't like the topic?
It used to piss me off back in the day.
Okay, before we get into it, let's talk about that. Let's talk about acceptance. Let me provide some background first, so it's not just I'm just putting you on the spot here. But
Okay, just go. Talk to me like I'm your wife.
we're going to do that?
I don't know why I just asked that. That's
All right.
scary.
Acceptance is a concept that I learned whenever I got clean and sober. I didn't have much of it in my life. I didn't really know what it was, but I had heard it, and I learned a ton about it, especially my first year sober. So acceptance to me is looking at my life and accepting the things that I can't control, the things I have no control of that drove me absolutely crazy. A lot of little things in life that just got under my skin, and it was like a splinter stuck under your skin. You just couldn't quit messing with it and picking at it, and it just drove me crazy. And
You're so good at that shit.
What?
Your little metaphors and stuff.
That's a gift.
I don't know how you come up with this stuff. Anyway, keep
just
going.
what it feels like. It's what the feeling feels like. It just comes out. I don't know how, but it does. It felt like a splinter under my skin. I couldn't quit messing with it, and I tried to change it, and I was doing very little to actually take action against these things. I was just annoyed by them, general annoyances. I don't know why Facebook is the platform, but if you want to find some people who don't have acceptance, hop on Facebook.
Facts.
On any community page out there that exists. So
true.
Whatever community you live in, check out the community page and you will find people with very little to no acceptance in their lives. And you've seen them and how they display outward to the world is that they're just mad about everything. They're mad at, so-and-so who drives the white Honda that cuts in the car line in the mornings, the carpool lane, Yeah. They're mad at the fact that the traffic light takes 4 or 5 cycles before people get through it. They're mad at the fact that their town...
It's raining.
Yeah, it's raining. Or they're mad at the fact that their town is not building the type of store that they want to go to. Like, it's just stuff like that. That's what acceptance was for me that I had a really hard time with.
Yes.
And so I worked really hard at developing this tool. And it is a tool. I think that it's something that doesn't come natural for a lot of people.
No, a lot of practice.
So I had to develop it. And so when I took on acceptance, I went as far with this as you could possibly go, to the point where like my goal was to not, I think there's a saying about acceptance and serenity in general. It's not finding shelter from the storm. It's finding peace within the storm.
Yes.
And I took that quite literally. And I looked at everything in my life that was wrong. All of my relationships. It could have been something going on in my career, something going on in my marriage, something going on at home, whatever it was. And I would seek acceptance. And I would look at sometimes really, really toxic situations and just say, more or less, it is what it is.
Yes.
And I can do very little to have an effect over changing this. So I'm just going to deal with it. I'm just going to have acceptance. And what I learned was over time, it's not exactly what it means. But I think from the get-go, when I developed that, you were like, time out, hold
Yes.
on, that's not how this works.
I was.
So give me your perspective on that time in our lives.
Oh, well, you would come in and say, oh, it just is what it is. This is how we just have to deal with this and accept it. It's all right, Paige. It's cool. It's all biscuits and gravy. And I'd be sitting back there like, no, MFer, this is not okay. I think that you need to dig into this deeper, because if there are patterns that are happening over and over again that are not, that are toxic, then apparently something has to change, right? It is affecting you. That's not what acceptance means. But I do understand now why you had to go that route.
I think acceptance, I look at it now, and it is a spectrum, man. It's not
Yeah.
all or nothing. And I was
Right.
looking at this in a very all or nothing fashion, which I've been guilty of doing in the past with a lot of different things, but it's not an all or nothing thing.
Well, right. And this is what I even talk to some of our clients about. Do something completely different than what you're doing. It might be complete opposite of what you're doing, and it may not be the right thing, but eventually you'll find the middle ground and the balance in that. And acceptance is very similar.
Man, balance is a tough thing. I think that underlying this whole conversation is like that concept of balance. And we all strive for balance, but very few of us attain it, especially early on. And I think that's part of the process.
I think so too.
If you're trying to lose weight, for instance, like you're going to go balls to the wall really early on. You're going to go buy all the healthy foods. You're going to plan your workouts. You're going to get your water intake down. You're going to do all these things and make all these drastic changes and go really far to one extreme and find that it's just not really sustainable yet.
Yeah.
Maybe that is one day, but it's not yet. And then a lot of people will just give up because it didn't work.
Right.
And I think that working through my emotions early on, I had a lot of signs of that, but I just kind of gutted it out and stuck with it anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change what I did
Nope.
for anything, because I think it was necessary for me to see both sides of it.
Yes,
I
exactly.
had been really sick and I needed to get as healthy as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could kind of peel that back and understand what things I could actually did have control over.
Yes.
Because that's what really acceptance is about, isn't it? Isn't it about understanding our powerlessness in some things that we deal with?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think in this episode, we're going to break it down, like what acceptance really is, what it is not, what it looks like in an addict's life, what it looks like in a codependent's life, and what it looks like in real life scenarios. So let's go ahead and talk about like what is acceptance.
I think at its core, it's recognizing and embracing a situation without resistance or judgment.
Oh, no judgment. That's so important.
So just recognizing and embracing something without resistance or judgment. So like I always go back to work on this kind of stuff, but let's say that your office has made a change in policy, whatever it might be. I have very little effect on this. Like I can't affect this very much. Like I signed up to be essentially dictated by people when I chose to work somewhere, and a change is a change. Maybe it's for the best, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure, but resisting it, judging it gets you where?
Oh, you just lose so much energy.
You come home angry about everything.
Yes.
So another way to say that is that it's acknowledging and making peace with reality.
Yeah,
I
even
think
if it's different than what you desire or expect, right?
Yeah. Most of the time it's going to be the opposite. I
Yeah.
think that is the good lesson in acceptance, is understanding that there will be some things that you may not really want, but it just is.
Yeah.
It just is. It allows us to let go of control and surrender to the flow of life, fostering inner peace and reducing stress.
Going with the flow.
Yeah, this is very Tao-like for us, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I was going to say that.
Like, I love the metaphor of a stream.
Water.
Yeah, water. So I just picture, like, we used to go down to the Comal River, which is this river down in South Texas, in the hill country, really. And I have to first remove in my mind all the drunk people in it, because that's what we used to do. But just the peacefulness of that thing in the evening when everyone's left it, and just the beautiful flow of the river. And I picture myself just trying to swim up this damn thing, like just futile, just getting nowhere.
Lots of energy.
Acceptance is very much letting go of control and surrendering to the flow of life. Mm-hmm. And then you find inner peace in doing that.
Absolutely.
By just saying, you know what, this just is, and just exhaling and just letting go. Mm-hmm. It's a really powerful tool for personal growth. And I can attest to this.
Yes.
So in personal development, I was basically like a toddler, I don't know, from the time I was probably 16 till I was about 26, like just a toddler, man. Like if things didn't go my way, like you can
I'm gonna throw a fit.
Yeah, catch me on the floor, stomping my feet and crying and just throwing a tantrum.
What I want.
But acceptance really did help me grow as an adult. Like I felt like an adult for the first time in the world when I really started to put this into practice. Another thing it does, it really helped me with, is it promotes empathy and understanding toward others. So when I have to accept something that I may not like, especially when it comes to other people, if my idea is, okay, I first need to accept this, my second thought is usually, F that. Why should I accept it? Mm-hmm. And then I get into this acceptance mode again, and I start to think, well, what could they be going through that's causing their actions?
Exactly.
Especially when we're dealing with sick people in our lives. And I don't mean sick like they've got the flu. I mean sick people who are dealing with
mental health issues.
Yeah, mental health
addiction.
issues or codependency, addiction, things like that. Like I have to remember that I'm dealing with a sick person, and left to their own devices, if they had to do it all over again, they probably wouldn't choose to be this way. Something has caused them, whether it be trauma in their past, like something from their childhood that has set them up for a really tough life as an adult, dealing with emotions and dealing with other people around them. It's easier for me, and it does promote empathy when I accept them as who they are because of these things.
Yes, but this does not mean condone, and we will get to that later.
Yeah,
this is
there's a
not
fine
all
line
or
there.
nothing. I'm just going to throw that out there.
For another thing acceptance does, it helps us focus on the present moment and make the most of what we have. I think that it fosters an idea of gratitude, and it helps you focus on what you do have rather than what you don't.
Yeah.
Or dwelling on what you've lost or what you lack. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So when I think about finances, for instance, I think about our financial situation. I am a forever at discontent. I was born with a disease of more, like this torturous disease of more, where it's just like, I think when I graduated college, I had this thought, it's like, if I could just make like 6 figures, I'd be set forever. Forever. I'll never need anything. I'll never ask for another thing ever. And then for those of you that have achieved this in life, you know that what happens is that you learn to, I mean, it's like this lifestyle inflation. You learn to sort of spend what you make, and suddenly it's not so great anymore. You can look at any level of income and that happens.
Yep.
Like look at people that go broke with, billions of dollars. It happens, man.
Yeah.
People can spend like fools, but acceptance really did help me focus on what I did have. In those moments, I could get back down to earth and looking at things. Like, so before dinner, we do this thing around the table where we say something that we're grateful for. Like, let's just be grateful. What are you grateful for? And a lot of times it's really simple stuff. It's like, we've got
kids usually say life.
Yeah, air, water. And those are great things.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I usually go back to like, there's a roof over our heads.
Yeah.
Like we really want for nothing.
Yeah.
Like we've got everything that we need right here. Just because there's not a Lamborghini in my garage yet doesn't mean that I'm discontent about life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Following me here. Something should be mentioned. Does not mean passivity or resignation. I think we've mentioned this in the beginning of all this. We'll get into this a little deeper.
Right.
It's about finding the balance. It helps you just more or less acknowledge reality for what it truly is. Sorry, I don't have my glasses with me. It involves recognizing our limitations and imperfections and embracing them as part of our humanity. So when I look at myself and what I lack, it's really easy for me to catastrophize and get into this mode that like
beat yourself up,
just tear myself into pieces. Like I'm nothing,
and have no compassion for yourself.
Right. About the things that I've gone through, that I've been through, and the development that I have made in a short period of time. Acceptance helps me get to that place much, much quicker than I used to. It helps me overcome resistance and negativity that can hinder progress and hinder happiness. And it allows for personal freedom. Liberation from the burdens of anger and bitterness and resentment and all these nasty emotions that crop up inside of me.
Yes.
I can choose to go to that place of acceptance, and I'm freed of these things.
Yes.
They go away almost instantly. I think that it also cultivates resilience, which I think now is more important than ever. Resilience is not a quality that I would use to describe society as a whole today. I think that more than ever, we are not as resilient as maybe we once were. I think back on just past generations and how tough they had things. Think about like back in the day, it was nothing for a family to have 8 kids and 5 of them die before they're 10 years old.
Or I had to walk to school in the snow.
Some people actually had to do that.
And you don't know what it's like. Yeah. You're grateful for that. I'm sure it taught them a lot.
But I think that working on this this tool of acceptance really does help cultivate resilience in so many ways, where you can go through some really, really difficult things. And both of us have in the last decade when we've been working on this. And I am more resilient than I have ever been before. Stuff just kind of beads off of me.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick on me very long at all.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, actually. You have come so far.
Thank you.
Like, for real.
Thank
and I've
you.
seen you go from the bottom to the top to the in-between, and it is beautiful, and it works, and it actually, like, people can progress and find the balance in it, and I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I know it. I've lived it, and I'm so proud of you.
And this is something that I work on this, not just in my personal life, but this goes into business as well. I actually gave a presentation today, which I was honored to give through Vistage. I was asked to speak, and one of the things that we covered was this topic of acceptance.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this to CEOs and presidents of companies and decision makers. And like, these are high powered people. These are not dummies by any means, but this is a concept that I think bleeds into every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So having said all that, and kind of through our opening, you probably got the impression that we have at one time, especially, had very differing views of what acceptance was. Mm-hmm. You know, I had my heels dug in and then you had yours. And I think that you really did have the right idea all along.
I'll have to say, and I'll give myself some props, that acceptance I was kind of born with it a little bit. I have had pretty good tolerance.
That's some BS too, man. There are people who are just born with these tools. I was not. I had to develop damn near every one I have.
But think about how frustrating it was for me when I've been trying to show you the way, and it took years for you to finally it clicks by someone else telling you how to do it.
Maybe if you had more acceptance in your life, it wouldn't have made you mad. How about them apples?
I hate you. Why do you always come back with shit? This is how we roll. How about them apples? We've been all on that all week too.
Goodwill Hunting?
Yeah. Okay.
I got a number. How about them apples? It's a great scene. Man.
I don't know why he finds it so hilarious.
I think it's the Boston accent. It's just the way that he did. I don't know. I love that line. The movie's greatness.
Okay, it's great.
Anyway, so we just talked about what acceptance is. Mm-hmm. I think there's no better person in this room, since there was only two of us plus the dog, to talk about what acceptance isn't.
Okay.
So for the all or nothing thinkers out there.
Yeah, this is where you're gonna kind of find the balance in this. Okay, so first, it does not mean approving or endorsing harmful or unhealthy behaviors or situations. Yes, Matt.
Okay. Color and context for that comment for the listener, because they're gonna wonder, what's that about? Okay, so there have been people in my life that have time and time again repeatedly shown me a pattern of behavior that essentially led me to an undeniable stack of proof that that's who they are, mm-hmm. and that was no different. But it doesn't make it okay.
Right.
There is still right and wrong in this.
Right. So you can acknowledge it, like that's the reality of your situation, right? Without condoning it.
Yes, there's a fine line there, though, that I think requires a bit of exploration.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so you're telling me that you can accept something without condoning it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's like validating feelings without condoning.
So validating without condoning is very similar to this.
Yes.
You can accept something and not necessarily condone it.
Right.
So I think about this in the most extreme cases. I think of a dictator like, I don't want to get political. Think of a really bad person who holds their people hostage and tortures them. There are countries in the world that have this happen every day, and there are people who live there. Mm-hmm. So in living there and accepting that is reality, mm-hmm. are they condoning it?
I don't know.
I would say no. I would say that if they had the means and the ability to leave, they probably would. Condoning it would be assisting in what they're doing. It would be supporting this person. It would be, going out and protesting in the streets in their favor and doing all that stuff.
Right.
That's a terrible example, but
No, I get it. Yeah. All right. So another one is that acceptance should not be confused with resignation or passivity. It doesn't mean giving up or surrendering to unfavorable circumstances without taking appropriate action to address them.
Okay, let's break that down.
Oh, that's huge.
That's a loaded one.
It is.
Okay, break it down. So we've got acceptance should not be confused with resignation or passivity, which is essentially giving up. It's like can't win, don't try.
Right.
That's essentially what that means, right? So giving up or surrendering to just a really crappy situation. Because I think in a lot of situations, and you opened my eyes to this, that we do have the ability to take some action.
Exactly.
Like if you work for a really crappy company,
yes,
You can complain about it forever, but they've shown you that this is who they are.
Yeah, and you have no control over what's going to happen.
You have no control
In
over
the
the fact that they
situation.
are what they are, but
Right.
you do have control over your career trajectory or when where you decide to call home.
Yes,
So there is a difference in that.
absolutely.
So at some point, we do make a choice to sit in this crap.
Yeah,
So there is some degree of control that we do have sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Right.
See, I got this confused. I thought it was all the time.
yeah,
I did build myself a really nice fallout shelter that I can go to, though.
yeah.
It's true. I can go anywhere and accept damn near everything.
That is true. I do agree with that. It's not about denying or avoiding the truth or reality of a situation.
Okay. So give me an example of what this would look like, denying or avoiding the truth of a situation. So let's say that you're dealing with, let's just talk about what's top of mind right now. So Paige works a lot with people on codependency issues, on people who take on the emotions of others and they try to change other people. Honestly, it's for the better, but they're trying to change someone who's not willing or ready to change.
Right.
So how would you apply this there?
Well, you need to look at your situation and not be in denial. That's how I'm reading this is like, look at your truth of the situation that you're with the addict in your life. You have an addict in your life. That is true. Once you're able to look at that and accept that, you can take actions to change yourself in the situation, but not the actual person that you're dealing with.
Yeah, they say the first step in recovery is acknowledging that there is a problem. It's
Yeah.
like admitting you have a problem.
Right.
And I don't think that doesn't just sit with recovery. That's with anything.
Yeah.
If you have a problem in your marriage, you suspect, let's admit that there is one first.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of uncover that and dig deeper and figure out what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's a problem at home, if there's a problem at work, ignoring these things, denying these things isn't necessarily acceptance.
Yeah.
That's just denial.
Right.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you. You're looking at me like I'm like, what are you trying to say, MFer?
No, is that right?
Yeah, it's totally right.
Yeah.
I think it's right.
Okay.
I'm saying it's right. It's right.
Well, I was in denial for a long time with you. I didn't accept that you were. Well, I kind of accepted.
I hit it
you
really
where you
well,
were,
man.
but you
I
hit
was
it
I
well.
was I was great at that.
Yeah. All right. So acceptance also does not mean settling for less or becoming complacent in life. You know, just it is what it is. This is who I am. That's who this person is. That's just how the situation is. You can take action while still accepting something.
Yeah, you can pursue improvement.
Yeah.
Damn near no matter what.
Yes.
Like almost always.
See, isn't that wild though? Because I know a lot of people look at things as, you know, black or white, all or nothing. Oh, I have to accept the situation. That means that I can't
Do anything.
change.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's I can accept the situation and change. Change that but to and.
I like that. Change your butt to and.
Yeah. So acceptance does not involve self-blame. So it's not about punishing oneself or feeling guilty for past mistakes or shortcomings.
Okay.
That's big too. So like you talked about earlier with emotions or accepting is not feeling guilty about whatever your mistakes are, your downfalls. It's just accepting them for what they are with no judgments.
Yeah. That's good. That helps a lot. I think that people are so freaking hard on themselves.
We are all hard
man.
on ourselves. It's
I'm
insane how
guilty
hard we
too.
are.
I got my hand up. I'm like really hard on myself.
I know.
All the time.
I know.
All the time.
Right. We need to give ourselves a little bit more grace and compassion. And this helps.
And looking at a situation, sometimes you can take this too far and saying only looking at my part and just looking at my part. Like there are situations where we have been wronged by somebody and sometimes repeatedly.
Yeah.
And I have a part in that. Certainly I have a part in that.
Yes.
But so do they.
Yep.
So it's not just saying I'm a scumbag. People walk all over me because I'm meaningless and self-deprecating yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's important to look at both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Acceptance does not require suppressing or ignoring one's emotions. So it's important to acknowledge and process emotions in a healthy and constructive manner while accepting the reality of the situation.
There it is again. There's that and,
Yes.
not or.
Not that or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
Okay, so this one's big, enabling.
Okay, let's get into it.
Acceptance should not be used as an excuse to enable or support unhealthy behaviors in oneself or others.
Damn right. Say that again.
Acceptance should not be used as an excuse to enable or support unhealthy behaviors in oneself or others.
I
that
like
hurt
it.
my ear.
I just scared the dog. I'm sorry.
It's beautiful, right?
No, it is. I think that, God, like this one's so relevant to what we do and what we work with.
Yes.
And almost anytime someone brings me a situation where they're struggling with somebody else, this is right on the surface of it all.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people in our lives that continually screw up over and over and over and over. It's just who they are. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's just who he is. Just ignore him. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make it okay. This guy's an a-hole.
Right. You can accept that they're an asshole, right?
You can accept they're an asshole, but I choose not to deal with it.
You change your actions.
We talked about boundaries, and this is where boundaries apply. Stuff like this.
100%. I love your passion about this. It's making me happy.
I'm dead ass serious on this one, y'all.
Okay, a fixed mindset. So acceptance is not a fixed or static state.
It is a spectrum.
Yes, it can coexist with the desire for change and growth, which is what we've been saying. This is literally what we've been saying. And then there was one more that I thought was pretty good.
What?
The time frame misconception.
Ooh, yeah.
So it is sometimes misunderstood as a permanent state. So people may think that once they accept a situation, they can never desire or work towards change.
That was me. Very much so.
Yes.
Like, understanding that they can coexist, like that acceptance can coexist with the desire for change. And in my opinion, I believe this to be true. That is essential to developing a healthy level of acceptance, is being able to accept something and also desire change at the same time. Mm-hmm. I think that when they both work in conjunction with each other, you get the best possible solution for yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the other person, but for you, for damn sure.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of what we do here is work with, and we didn't plan on it this way, I don't think. Like when we started the podcast, it's like, all right, you're going to be the codependency expert. That's kind of how this has turned out.
Yeah.
Like you hear from tons and tons of people, like you stay really busy.
Right.
Working with codependents.
Yes. Well, or just spouses of addicts. Not all of them are codependents. I'm just helping them find their best version of themselves possible.
Yeah, you're helping them find self-worth.
Their worth.
Develop
Exactly.
as individuals.
Right.
Rather than focusing on this other person.
Right. I know the word codependent just gets thrown out really ugly, and some people look at it in a bad way.
What was the other terminology that we came up with?
I also can't.
Emotionally reliant.
Yeah, it's that. And then self-sacrificing.
That's a good one. Self-sacrificing.
Yeah. And then
shout out Diane, right?
Shout out to Diane. Yes. Thank you. I was about to say that. And then, oh my gosh, what was I going to say?
You meshed?
No. Oh, I can't diagnose people who are codependent. I believe that people can kind of diagnose themselves, and I just give them tools to help them guide themselves in the right direction, to help them with whatever they're dealing with.
And the topic of acceptance is very relevant to people who have this sort of mindset.
Yes.
So let's run through how this can apply and how it can help.
I wanted to run through the other one first.
You want to run through mine?
Yeah, because I just talked about all those. Remember, we swapped it.
Okay, so
I've been talking a lot.
When it comes to, this is new. So when it comes to addiction, so I dealt with drugs and alcohol. Some people have behavioral addictions as well. Mm-hmm. Some people are addicted to their phones and social media. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough one to look at, to really look at your schedule and see how you're spending your time. Mm-hmm. Some people are addicted to sex and pornography or gambling. There are behavioral addictions that tons and tons of people deal with. Yeah. Not just drugs and alcohol.
Right.
But did you know that 46% of Americans are touched in some way by a friend or family member who's either directly dealing or on secondhand dealing with addiction?
How do you
half the country.
How do you memorize these numbers?
I like numbers. It's kind of my thing. 40 million Americans.
And I think that number's higher, honestly.
You think that number's high?
Yeah. No, I think it's higher than that.
I think it's higher than that. Yeah. I would venture to say it is as well, but I didn't do the study.
No, I know.
The National Institute for Addiction or someone did.
Nobody asked me.
So,
so I'm not included in that study.
But in 2020, roughly 40 million Americans sought treatment for some sort of addiction. Mm-hmm. 40 million Americans. That's 10% of the country, man.
Yeah.
A little more than 10% of the country. So in a room with 10 people, one of them is seeking treatment directly. And let's say that they know 100 people, those 100 people are touched by this.
Yeah.
So it's a ton of people. So let's talk for a moment about how acceptance plays a crucial role in the recovery process. And I wouldn't just say the recovery process. No. I would say in the process of developing a healthy mindset, which is what we're really after here.
Yep.
It's helping you become the best version of yourself. And I think this plays into it. This is something that I'm passionate about. And I teach everyone that comes to me. So we mentioned this already. The first step in recovery is recognizing and accepting that you have a problem. So acceptance in its essence is the first step of recovery. It's accepting you are what you are, acknowledging that you have a substance or behavioral addiction of some kind that causes negative consequences in your life. So it's step one. Another piece of that is accepting powerlessness. So if you have an addiction of some kind, let's break it down for probably the average listener. Maybe not everyone here takes 60 pain pills a day like I did. But let's say they pick up their phone 60 times a day. That is powerlessness. You are powerless over it. It's an impulse at this point.
Yep.
I mean, it really is. You can't even control it. This thing exists and you just go after it. You're not even sure why. So that really what we're doing here and when we're talking about powerlessness is admitting that our best thinking will not result in us changing necessarily. Like we can't really think ourselves out of this without assistance, which we'll get to in just a moment. But understanding that attempts to control or manage this thing have been ineffective and that seeking help and support is probably necessary.
Right.
That we aren't going to fix it on our own.
Yep.
That is a thought loop that you can stay in for the rest of your life, thinking that you're going to figure it out on your own. When someone's already figured it out, you should just reach out to them and say, hey, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's much easier.
Right.
It's about who, not how this is going to fix itself. Accepting responsibility, which involves taking ownership of your actions and behaviors that related to the addiction.
That's a hard one for y'all.
Yeah, it is a tough one for us, isn't it? Yeah, we're stubborn as can be. And accepting that you've made some really, really crappy choices that have contributed to, you know, the isolation and everything that comes with addiction, and recognizing the need to take responsibility for the recovery process. It's a really tough one. It's really easy for us, addicts. No one throws a party like an addict throws a pity party. You never seen one of these parties, y'all. We got
Accountability,
DJs,
man.
we got snacks and cakes, and we got all the booze. We throw a party like you wouldn't believe, a pity party, where it is everyone else's fault, man. If you had my life, if you grew up with my parents, if you had my job or my wife or my kids,
You had my trauma.
it's everyone else's fault, right?
Yep.
Yeah, accepting responsibility is a big part of this. And as we mentioned just a moment ago, accepting the need for help. So understanding that you're probably not going to fix this on your own. In fact, I would say you're not going to fix this on your own. It's going to take an outside perspective and someone who's done this before to walk you through this. Accepting change and growth. So embracing the idea that recovery requires a huge change in your mindset.
Yep.
A massive overhaul. You are literally gutting your house, throwing all the crap on the curb for the dumpster, and then restocking it.
You're so good at that. You did it again.
You're hanging new sheetrock, doing some canister lighting and some track lighting this time instead of those old incandescent bulbs. You're redoing everything.
Somebody needs to hire him to come speak for y'all because he throws this shit out.
I do
like
that now, by
crazy,
the way.
and I love
Hey,
it.
if you like what you hear, contact me. I'd be more than happy to come do it for you. I love speaking. For a lot of people, this wasn't my journey, part of my journey, but this is part of most people's journeys. And I've come to understand this is more common. Is relapse is part of the process for most people. But when I look back on my recovery, I thought about this today and I did the math during my presentation. I relapsed well over 100 times. Well over 100 times.
Yeah.
That I was resolute. I'm going to stop. I'm going to detox. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to beat this. Relapse.
I guess, yeah, you're right.
I relapsed so many times.
Before you got into recovery.
Right. When I decided to ask for help, then I haven't relapsed since. I haven't had the need to put anything in my body in 10 years, but relapses are part of this. And I think that when you're talking about mental development too, behavioral development, emotional development.
Oh my gosh.
Setbacks are part of it. Like we posted something on our Instagram account recently. There was like this zooming out of like a chart that was a really healthy chart showing growth going northeast, you know?
Yeah, but it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, but if you zoom in on one little part of it, like you have these huge ups and downs, you feel like you're not making progress, but over time you are.
Yeah.
Every relapse is part of the process, but unfortunately we don't have many relapses in us. At some point we don't make it out. Accepting emotions and triggers. This was a really tough one for me. These emotions, the E word, might as well be an F word for me. It was really tough.
Feelings?
Yeah, feelings, man. I don't want to talk about those. Those are tough. But all the emotions that pop up, all the crazy crap that goes through my head that I would rather admit didn't, I had to start accepting that this was part of my psyche. This is who I am. If I'm ever going to get well, I'm going to have to deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to accept that I have emotional triggers. I'm going to have to accept this stuff for what it is and then
And the cravings.
deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, the cravings too. Yeah, accepting that, especially early on. The biggest one for me is accepting a new identity.
Ooh.
Understanding. I think
We did we did an episode on that.
the identity change was drastic. It was huge. It was scary. It was big. And it was like, I have to be a completely different person. I'm glad I was in treatment for this, and I'm glad I was in a safe place. I'm glad that I sought IOP afterward, because it allowed me to mourn what I thought I was losing.
Yeah.
It was really tough to fall into this new identity and be this new person, because I was so attached to my old one, even though it was incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on with yours. Let's talk about people who aren't stuffing stuff in their body or got crazy behaviors to.
Okay, this is just people
fill
who
voids.
who are stuck basically, and they are with.
They're emotionally reliant. They are
Yeah.
self-sacrificing people.
Yes.
Which is very noble, and I think it's a beautiful way to look at it, because self-sacrifice is the correct term for it. But in so many ways, self-sacrifice does hurt you.
Yes, if it's hurting your own well-being.
Yeah, you're sacrificing your needs for someone else's.
Right. That's where it's unhealthy.
Right.
So, accepting personal limitations. So, recognizing that you have limitations and cannot control or fix everything or everyone in your life. So, this involves understanding that everyone is responsible for their own choices, actions, and happiness. Huge, y'all. This is huge for people like us, because we want to fix everybody. Just like we said in our last episode, people ask me, how can I help them help themselves?
Yeah.
We can't.
I wish you could.
I wish you could. And you might feel like that's the loving thing to do, but it's not. So we have to accept our limitations. And I have to say that it's very empowering when you start to do this. I know that from personal experience. Accepting emotions, kind of similar to yours. So allowing yourself to experience and accept your emotions without judgment or self-criticism. So you have to accept both the positive, the negative, and understand that they are a natural part of your human experience. So a lot of us will like try to be super positive all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, this is positivity. I want to make sure everything is happy and I'm just going to stay positive. When in reality, you got to look at all the emotions, because that's being a human.
Yeah. Toxic positivity is a thing.
It is. We both have very strong opinions about toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Accepting boundaries. This one's very hard for us.
Setting and respecting them.
Yes. So yeah.
What? Keep going. You good?
Yeah. Setting and respecting healthy boundaries in relationships. So both with others and within yourself.
Uh-huh.
So it is okay to say no and prioritize.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No is a complete sentence.
Word.
I don't explain myself to anybody anymore, and it is amazing. People ask me, do you have time for this? Do you need to do that?
No, man, I just don't.
I just don't. I don't have time today. I don't have time then. And I'm not explaining why, because frankly, it's none of their business, and it's really not that big of a deal to
If they ask, I got a lot going on right now.
Right. And if they ask, I can say that, or I can, those are boundaries. You have to prioritize your own well-being, even if it disappoints and upsets others.
Yeah, that's part of it sometimes.
Yeah. We talked about this earlier, kind of accepting imperfections. So embrace your own imperfections and accept that it's normal to make mistakes.
Totally is.
You are deserving of love and respect, regardless of any perceived flaws or shortcomings.
You deserve to be loved.
Absolutely. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Yeah, they're full of shit.
Accepting detachment. So recognize that you can't control or change others, which is what we said earlier, and accept the need for healthy detachment.
Healthy detachment.
Healthy, yeah. So that means allowing others to take responsibility for their own lives and choices, even if it brings discomfort and uncertainty.
Yeah, if someone's making lousy decisions over and over and over, you have to let them feel the consequences of those lousy decisions.
Yeah.
You can still love them, though.
Yeah.
You can totally still love them.
Yes, you
That's
can.
healthy.
Right. This is one of those ands instead of buts. Accepting self-care. This one's kind of hard.
Why?
Because we want to take care of everybody else, because we're so worried about what everyone else is
Worried
doing
about
instead
how
of
I'm
ourselves.
feeling and how he's doing,
I'm
how
taking
she's
care of my
doing.
children. I can't take care of myself, but it is not selfish.
This is this is the airplane oxygen mask thing, right?
Absolutely. So taking care of your own needs, like I said, it's not selfish. And people, for some reason these days, think that it's so selfish to have self-care and take care of
God forbid
yourself.
I have needs too.
Yeah. So you have to accept that you deserve to prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental health.
Yeah.
Your health, not somebody else's health, yours.
Their health is their responsibility.
It is their responsibility. I know it's easier said than done. And I want people to know that we are not judging anybody based on how they look at acceptance right now. We are literally doing this to educate you and help you look at it in a different light that will make your life so much easier.
Yeah. Like we've already went to school and did the test, and this is our experience.
We
with
have
it.
been through it,
man.
Up and down, both all around.
So you might be on a different, you could be on any part of this journey with acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
No judgment here. This is just what it looks like on the other side.
Right. So then I just have two more that are pretty quick. So accepting help, it's just like you said earlier. It's okay to ask for help from others if you don't know what to do.
Please do. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Get on our website.
There's a lot of the stuff you can't do on your own. Yes, you can schedule a consultation with us. It's not a weakness. It's a strength to actually ask for help. And we actually had an episode based on that.
Heck yeah.
Accepting the past. This one is hard for a lot of people because we do beat ourselves up based on things that have happened in the past. And y'all, we can't do anything about the past.
It's already happened.
Like whatever I just said, like I can't do anything about that. I can't take it back.
I'm not editing it.
Now, if I did something wrong or said something wrong, yes, I can acknowledge it and I can fix it and I can try to make it better. But what has happened has happened. Accept it. Move on.
You have to accept it.
Yep.
You don't have to do it again, but you have to accept it happened.
Right.
So I think that we could finish this up with some real life examples. I think that we dealt with a couple of pretty specific instances of how to apply this, but I think in people's day-to-day life, there's plenty of other ways to practice acceptance.
Right. So this is going to be for those in normal, and I don't want to say normal, like healthy people.
Who's normal? What the hell's that anyway?
Okay, the non-spouses of addicts and non-addicts.
No,
so these are people who just have to deal with like everyday problems, like Matt said. So a loss of a loved one. This one's hard, but acceptance involves acknowledging and coming to terms with the reality of their passing, right? I mean, death is a part of life. I tell my kids that all the time, but it's also accepting the pain of grief, allowing yourself to feel the emotions that are associated with the loss, and gradually finding ways to integrate the loss into one's life while honoring the memory of the person.
Yeah, grief it truly is a process. And I think one best done with someone else, whether it's a support community, a close friend, a therapist, a coach, or a mentor of some kind. It's an extremely tough thing to deal with on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? What are some other
setbacks.
real life examples? Ooh, career setbacks.
So if you're facing a significant career setback, like losing a job or experiencing professional failure, acceptance comes into play by acknowledging the current situation and the emotions that arise from it. So you accept the loss, you accept responsibility for your part, and use it as an opportunity to grow and learn and explore new possibilities of career paths.
Yeah, I think
I love this.
Anytime I think about it, especially when it comes to career, I'm like, it's so malleable and you can change that at any given time. I look at any kind of failure, quote unquote failure, as an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Whether I learn something or whether it opens up new doors or who knows what, it changes my perspective on it. Yeah, I think when it comes to career, we could always look at those as opportunities.
Yep. Relationship changes. So this one is kind of big. This is big for everybody, but I deal with this a lot in the kind of work that I deal with. It can be vital. Acceptance can be vital for navigating the changes. So as a breakup or divorce.
Or even someone who's just kind of fallen out of touch.
Yes, absolutely. So you accept the end of the relationship, you acknowledge the emotions, and you work through the grieving process. So the acceptance allows you to let go of expectations and attachments and eventually move forward with your life.
Eventually.
It is
a process, though.
It is an
Accept
absolute
those emotions.
process.
It's part of it, man.
Yeah, it is. And all those negative emotions that you're feeling or uncomfortable emotions doesn't necessarily mean that you did the wrong thing either. Because that's part of the grieving process.
Part of the process.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there. Personal flaws and limitations. Acceptance applies to recognizing and accepting personal flaws and limitations, which is literally what I just said. So I like this because it helps you acknowledge your areas of weakness and embraces them as being part of a human, which is what we said earlier about, your emotions and stuff. So this works for anybody, and you need to seek support when needed.
So I've got a few in here, and this one really applies to me. So living with chronic illness or chronic pain. I was a pain pill abuser because I had chronic pain, and I do have a really nasty back injury that I continue to live with today. So I think about acceptance, and it's really, really freaking hard sometimes because it's so frustrating, because it comes back and it haunts me. And it's every time it happens, I'm like, God dang it. Why do I have to deal with this? Why am I dealing with this?
Yeah.
You know, why me? Whatever.
The bird did not shit.
Part of it's genetics, something I could have never helped. This runs in my family. These weak little discs that act like, you know, like mozzarella balls. There's like goo, you know, like
There's another one.
they don't hold up for shit, man. They're just like goo. Like most people have like these nice hockey puck discs.
We need to count
that are
how many you've done through
really
all of our
firm.
episodes.
Mine are gooey, but either way, so someone dealing with chronic illness or health condition, acceptance it's critical. I think it's critical, or you will go crazy if you don't. Acknowledging the reality of your condition, whatever it might be, and accepting its limitations. So for me, accepting my limitations was really tough. I was extremely stubborn, and for a very long time, I just tried to fight it and fight through it and deal with the pain, but it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I had to learn ways to adapt.
Yeah.
And I had to change a lot of the things I did. It also encouraged me to seek medical care for it, because once I accepted that it wasn't going to get better, okay, then how do we make it comfortable? I need to talk to a professional about what I can and can't do and figure this stuff out. Whether it's, you know, whether it's diabetes or whatever, it's, you know, chronic pain, migraines, whatever it might be. There's some things you're just not gonna be able to do. It's okay. It's totally fine. You'll just have to alter your actions a little bit. Culture and societal changes. Man, God, I talked with a friend about this on Saturday. We sat there forever talking about a lot of this stuff. In every day, like the news is so polarized. You've got one side and the other side, and each one's wrong. And it's like, it's tough to figure out what's right, what's wrong. There's new stuff being taught to us every single day. It's really tough. The fact of the matter is that we have to accept these things because we have literally no control over them. You have to recognize the fact that society does evolve, and that there will be more and more diversity as time goes on, not less. And embracing different perspectives is part of this, and fostering empathy and understanding.
Which doesn't necessarily mean condoning.
You're not condoning it just because you have empathy.
You have to ask yourself if it really affects you personally.
Yeah. That was the question I kept asking. And how's that affect you today?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know.
Right.
I get worked up too. I get it.
Let that energy go somewhere else.
Yeah. I think
you don't have to do that last.
Yeah.
one.
So one that we had talked about were some other issues. So like big ones for me, traffic.
Yep.
Like basic nuisances in life. Sitting in traffic. You have to accept that. You got a choice. You could either move somewhere in the middle of nowhere and live in a cornfield.
Never understand people who get super mad in traffic.
Leave at a different time, maybe. Those are a couple actions you could take. But even then, it's probably not going to be, depending on where you live, it's not going to make too much of a difference.
It just is.
You just have to accept it, man. Yeah. Turn on till the wheels fall off and just listen to an episode.
Yeah.
Like, you got time to burn. You might as well.
Right, especially in this episode.
Politics, we kind of mentioned it a second ago when it comes to cultural and societal changes. You can think that your vote makes a difference, and someone might argue with me on this, but the fact of the matter is that there's a person behind that vote that may or may not have your best interest in mind. Yeah. You can complain about this stuff all you want, but it is.
Right.
It just is.
That is where acceptance comes into play.
We've all agreed to live here and pay taxes and all that stuff, and you know what? You can't change much of it.
Yep.
You can't. You can sit there and get worked up about it, and how's that working for you?
Yeah.
Weather. Like, I see this a lot. Like, it's hot. It's raining.
Gosh. It's raining every weekend.
It rains
all the time.
It only rains on my birthday. It only rains on Saturday. Dude, the bird didn't shit on your windshield. The bird just shit. You have to learn how to accept these really basic things.
Yeah.
And accepting these basic things, there is something that I do. And this is something I learned in treatment. And if you are not spiritual, I'm not even going to apologize. This is just helpful. Just break it down.
I think it's just great if you're not spiritual.
Break it down and dissect it. It's called the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
And it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Boom.
There are some things in life that you will be able to change. You can affect change on. There are other things that you cannot. The wisdom to know the difference is what the balance looks like in your life.
And that's going to take time.
It does. It takes time to figure out what you can and can't change, because there's some things you think you can't change that you actually can. Mm-hmm. There's some things you think you can change that you cannot. And you will figure these things out as time goes. And we'd love to hear more about it. Our Facebook group is up and running. Yay! The TUFO community is on Facebook. Search TUFO community. Yeah, it's on our link tree. Search TUFO community or check it on our link tree. Join. Let us know how you heard about it. Let us know that you're not a bot or a solicitor just trying to sell some kind of product. I don't know. We haven't had any yet, but let's just make sure that you're not. So let us know who you are. while you're in there, you're more than welcome to post anonymously.
Yep.
That is totally anonymous. People will not know it came from you. You can talk about some really personal stuff in there and get some great feedback from us and the rest of the community by just posting in there and interacting with us.
Yeah.
You can check us out on social media via our link tree or by going to our brand new improved website, www.tufo.com.
TWFO.
Scroll all the way to the bottom. You will see our social links. You can also find the link for the charity we mentioned in the beginning of this episode, the Counseling for the Futures Foundation. If you go to the About section, scroll to the bottom and you will find that.
Yep.
You can schedule a consultation with us there. You can find our Tufo journals, which I think are pretty sick.
I love them.
You can also find all of our book recommendations, and we will have more merch to come.
You know what's cool about the journal that I didn't mention?
What?
It has tear out pages.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it has the
So you can actually take notes and take them with you and
yeah,
stuff.
like what is that?
Oh yeah,
Perforated?
perforated.
Perforated?
Yeah, that's dope. I like it, man.
Yeah.
These things are cool. These are great. If you don't already have some stickers, please let us know. Shoot us a DM at @tufo_couple on Instagram, and we will shoot you some stickers.
You've
We will
got
send
this
them
down.
to you.
I can't do it.
What? All
I
the
would screw
all the things.
All the things. I would screw it up.
I've had to train myself on this stuff, man.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank
babe.
you. So we hope that gives you in some insight and some application into the principle of acceptance.
I'm gonna make a guide on this as well.
Okay, we'll have a guide as well, which you can find on our website and in the community, I'm sure, right?
And send this episode to people who you think need some acceptance in their life.
Yeah. Send this people non-judgmentally. Hey, I think this is a good listen. You should take a look. Don't say, hey, you need this a-hole.
You know what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But anyway, okay. That's all we've got. We ran a little long. This might be our longest episode ever.
Yeah.
But I think it's really helpful. You can break it up into 2 or 3 segments if you want. It's great for a long treadmill or a bike or a rower.
Road trip.
If you are Nassim, you're on the rower. Shout out Nassim.
Yes.
Check out her podcast, Becoming My Stronger Me. It's excellent as well. She's a good friend of ours, and it's been awesome to watch her grow.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we've got. Is that all? You got anything else?
I think we're good.
Okay, awesome. Well, until next time, I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.